Hello, welcome. My name is Tiffany, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a tutorial on this New Year's Eve kind of holiday makeup look. I've really been itching to do like a grunge, smoky-eyed, glittery kind of look ever since I got this Beauty Bay palette for Christmas. So if you want to see how I got this look, be sure to keep watching. Alright, we're starting off with eyebrows, which I actually do not enjoy doing. I don't know what it is about doing eyebrows, but like, I was gonna go for like a thin brow kind of look, but I don't really know what I'm doing right now. Bro. I don't know if this is just me, but I feel like my eyebrows fall out really easily no matter how gentle I am with like taking off my makeup. I'm just really gonna coat my eyebrows with this gel. This is why I don't freaking like doing my eyebrows. It literally looks like I just dyed my eyebrow black and called it a day. Now before I get to eyeshadow, I like to prep my eyelids with just some concealer because I feel like it gives me like a really good even base to start with. I'm going to put the shade Castle all over my eyelid with a fluffy brush just to kind of give myself like a little base to work with. Then I'm going in with shadow on the inner and outer corner to build up a little bit of color. Now I'm going to use the shade Tattoo, which is the darkest color in this palette, it's a black. And I'm just going to pack it on the inner and outer corner right on top of where I did shadow. Now to blend out the edges, I'm using shadow and then going right back in with Tattoo. You'll notice that I'm keeping like the center of my lid kind of empty as much as possible, and that's because I'm going to go in with the shade Clouds on like a flatter brush, and we're just going to like start patting it. But once I have most of that color down, I'm going to start blending out the edges just by patting them and going into the inner corner and then repeating the same for the outer corner. And if you're feeling like you went too far, you can just go right back in with that brush you used for Tattoo to just bring that deep black color back. Now using the shade Frost, I'm going to gently pack that onto my center lid. And with Nightclub, I'm focusing that where this inner shade meets this outer one. Once again, going in with Frost to kind of just build this up a bit. Now with a small brush, I'm going to build up Tattoo once again. I wanted this side to match the other side more, so I'm just going to blend with this brush to kind of just bring up the shadow. Now I'm going in with Rock Pool on my fingers and I'm just going to tap it on my eye. Now I'm just bringing some of that shadow under the eye just to make it all look cohesive. Now with a liquid eyeliner, I'm just going to do like a very short, simple wing. And I have to connect it to like my entire eyelid or it just doesn't feel right for me. I just feel like it complements an eye look if you just bring the eyeliner all over. Now I'm just going to use a spatula that I got off Amazon to like evenly spread some foundation on my face. I usually save my forehead for last, and then I'm going to blend that out with a beauty blender. The one thing I don't like about doing my eyebrows first is that like when I do forehead makeup, I actually have to be careful about getting product in my brows. I just don't feel like I have a lot of space to like just kind of blend carefree. The brush I love to use to blend it out is the M243 brush, which I love because of the density, the shape, and how easy it is to clean. Because one thing about me is I do not like cleaning my makeup brushes. For my bronzer, I'm going to use the Morphe concealer in the shade 14C, which this is not really what it's for, but it works. Going in with this brush to just blend it all out. When you're blending out face products, it's pretty important to remember to like tap instead of like drag, because if you drag it, there's a very high chance that you're going to leave streaks and start lifting your foundation or whatever other products you have underneath. I will say the one area this doesn't apply for me is like my jawline, but even then it's like a combination of the both. I do want it to be just a little bit darker, like right here, just that much. This is the LYS Stick Bronzer, and I think the deepest shade, it's Worthy. And I'm just going to use the edge of this brush to just blend it pretty much in place. Once most of that pigment is in that spot, I'm going to go ahead and like even it all out. Alright, this is what the base is looking like with foundation and bronzer slash contour on. Now it's time for the blush, which I'm honestly not really sure what shade of blush I should use. So I normally will just like hold it up to my face and gauge what will look the best. Okay, I think these two mixed together will be really pretty. So we're gonna blend it out with one of my favorite brushes, which is the M242 brush from Morphe. And again, we're just gonna tap it. We're not gonna swipe. We're not gonna, I don't know, but we're just gonna tap it. That's pretty. That's a really pretty combo. I don't know if doing it on my finger helped, but I'm gonna just repeat that. I would say the only thing to be careful about when you mix two different products together is creating like an accurate shade for both sides. So I have to use not the exact same amount of pigment of one, but very similar or else it won't look the same. Go in with a beauty blender that I have not used and just get some of this excess blush. Another tip is I want to add more bronzer to kind of dilute that blush. But before I go in with more bronzer to kind of dilute how much blush that was, I'm just going to use whatever's on this brush first. That way you don't overdo something. All right, now I'm gonna use some concealer to really just bring this whole look together. I'm using the Morphe concealer once again in a shade pretty close to my skin tone, just to get the first layer of concealing. Now I'm going in with a brightening shade to really just brighten up my under eyes and also between my brows and under my nose. And this time, instead of going in with a beauty blender, I'm gonna go in with a brush to really just make this focused and blend it in the places that I want it to go. I'm gonna go back in with this blush brush, and I'm not gonna do any more product. I'm just going to use what's already on there, just so that it's a bit more seamless. And I'm going to go in with the beauty blender just a bit, just to get any of that extra concealer. I'm also going to blend excess like to my jaw to kind of help with like the contour vibe I was going for. Again, going back in with just the brush, no extra product, to just kind of buff out any harsh lines. All right, so this is what the cream products are looking like all done. I have foundation, bronzer, contour, blush, and concealer on. I'm going to go ahead and spray everything with a setting spray and then let everything just sit for a bit. Then we'll get into powder. Okay, I let all my creams and liquids dry down a bit, so now we're going to go in with powder. I think I'm going to use this LYS Brilliance loose powder for my under eyes. I always try to switch up like how I do my makeup and what products I'm using, just so I get some use out of like all my products. I wanted to use a banana powder because I feel like it's really brightening, and that's just kind of the vibe I want to give. Recently, I've been trying to play around with like makeup techniques and kind of like evolving as someone who just enjoys doing makeup. And I feel like the best way to do that is to like play around with the products that you have opened. As someone who receives PR, it's pretty easy to forget just how much stuff that you have like opened. So recently, like I've just been not opening any new products just so I can use up what I have opened. But that way I just start having more empties, I start using the stuff I have, and I can start actually being able to really try new products and see how they work for my skin. I definitely need more powder bronzer, so I'm gonna go in with the LYS one. I'm trying not to be super harsh with it. I'm just trying to spread it evenly with this brush. So let me tell y'all the second thing I hate doing: nose contour. I honestly just feel like I'm not good at it. Like I feel like, again, with brows, it's something that's like pretty important to your makeup look. All right, now we're gonna do highlighter. I'm back, and this is the final look. I did add a couple of silver accessories to really just add to this vibe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Bye.